Welcome back to See Today Business. Now, UK and ASEAN's trade has been in an upward trend and the collaborations are exceeding in the past years. And yesterday, UK-Asean Economic Integration Program was launched here in Jakarta. So let's delve more about the relations between UK and ASEAN and of course between UK and Indonesia. So here with me in the studio, Majesty's Trade Commissioner for Asia Pacific, Martin Kent, and Ambassador for UK Mission to ASEAN, Sarah Tiffin, to discuss the relations between the UK and the ASEAN nations. Welcome to you both. Thank you for coming by to See Today's studio. It's great to see you here in Jakarta. So we've heard a lot of interesting topics being discussed yesterday in the program launch. There was this digital innovation, inclusive to ASEAN financial, especially for the MSMEs, as well as the women empowerment. So this time around, I would like to go to you first, Mr. Martin Kent. What brings you to Indonesia and how do you see the relations between Indonesia and UK as partners?
Thank you so much for having us on your show today. I am delighted to be here in Indonesia this week for my first visit here in the role of His Majesty's Trade Commissioner to Asia Pacific. I'm here on a bilateral programme supporting UK businesses invest and export more to Indonesia to support our bilateral trade relationship, which is going from strength to strength, as we see a real increase in UK business interest in trading in this part of the world. And I'm also here in my role as the UK Senior Economic Official to ASEAN, where I'm deepening our work in the economic space across our ASEAN partners as we look to further and deepen that relationship. And the real highlight of that has been the launch of the Economic Integration Programme, which happened yesterday. This really is our keystone programme in the economic space, and it has three really important pillars. One around regulatory reform, one around opening up markets, and one around delivering financial services so that the wealth from trade both within ASEAN and with dialogue partners can continue to increase for the benefit of all ASEAN citizens.
So how do you see ASEAN as it is a growing region, and the UK is now very much in favor to have ASEAN as the trade partners, developing in the future? How do you see the future of this relationship?
I see the relationship expanding. This is an area of enormous global growth, and the UK is deeply committed to our role as an ASEAN dialogue partner. We are the newest dialogue partner in 25 years, and we are approaching that role with enormous gusto. We will be spending £25 million over the next few years delivering just this economic integration programme, and that's one of a number of programmes that's being delivered across the UK's mission to ASEAN. So we see this as an area of enormous global growth. We also see it as an area that has a set of objectives and aspirations that are very much aligned with our own. Topics like the digital agenda, trade digitisation, also the decarbonisation agenda and our joint efforts to move to a net zero world in the future. That kind of expertise and collaboration in topics that we both care about deeply, and only through genuine partnership, both at the government level but also at the business level, is what's going to drive that forward. And there is an enormous UK business community of interest that is becoming increasingly interested in this part of the world. And it's been a real pleasure on this trip to meet so many British businesses that are thriving, doing business in Indonesia, but also more widely in ASEAN. And they're doing that in partnership with businesses across the region. So this is a great story of partnership, of economic growth, and delivering increases in prosperity to citizens across the whole of ASEAN.
All right, so this is certainly a good news. So if you could tell us about the activities that are implemented by the UK in Southeast Asia, and how will it benefit the UK companies, you think?
So within the Economic Integration Programme, there are those three critical pillars around regulatory reform, about open trade, and also financial services. We know that where there is a financial services system that caters for businesses, particularly, as you said at the start, micro and SME businesses, which make up the vast majority of the number of businesses in this region, combining that with regulatory reform to take down barriers means that more open trade is able to deliver prosperity. And we predict that through the EIP, the Economic Integration Programme, this could lead to increases in the economy of 1 to 1.5% that can lead to, in a decade, 10 to 20% of increased incomes. So these have really tangible impacts to individual citizens. On top of that, we have a whole range of programmes and activities that are going on. We have a thriving UK-Asean Business Council, the UK-ABC, that held a business conference just 2 weeks ago in the UK that had an incredible level of interest that was above and beyond what we've seen before. So we're seeing greater interest in trading here, greater interest in partnership, but we're also, from a policy and government perspective, working to lower the barriers to trade that allow businesses of every size to trade more, deliver more prosperity, deliver jobs and growth, and also leapfrog in more sophisticated ways through taking down paperwork and digitising trade, which leads to safer, more secure and quicker trade, delivering better service to the communities that they serve.
We certainly like that, and most of all, the ASEAN communities, hopefully they can be benefiting from this partnership as well. So I would go to Ms. Ambassador Tiffin. So what will be the focus of the Economic Integration Programme? We know that the planning has been going on for the past 3 years, and yesterday was the launch. Hopefully this is a good start.
Absolutely. So we're really excited about this programme, and as Martin said, it's just one of a number of programmes that we're setting up to work with ASEAN on shared priorities, and we're framing all of these programmes very much within the context of ASEAN's own strategies and its own objectives. So in addition to this economic integration programme, for example, we're setting up programmes on the green transition, on education and access to education, particularly for more marginalised communities, on health security and on women, peace and security. And all of those we're trying to place within ASEAN's frameworks and target at ASEAN's priorities, and that's very much what we've done with the Economic Integration Programme. So it's been a long process of consultation with ASEAN member states, with the ASEAN Secretariat, to identify not just the areas which matter to ASEAN, but also the ones where we feel that as a new dialogue partner, we can bring something to the table that can be helpful. And as Martin said, that's narrowed us down into 3 pillars. So 3 pillars are regulatory reform, so making sure that the right frameworks are set that can facilitate trade, open trade, and there we're looking particularly at how we can support the development of digital trade. We're very impressed by the launch of the Digital Economy Framework Agreement and the negotiations that are ongoing on that, and we're very much keen to lean in support of that and offer our own experience, for example, of developing legislation around digital trade. And then financial services, and particularly opening up access to financial services to those who might otherwise be excluded. And in all of those pillars, we're looking at not just harnessing British expertise, so we're working with some really high-profile British government organisations, the Office of Product Safety and Standards, the British Standards Institute, the Competition and Markets Authority. They're all leaning in with us to support our engagement with ASEAN and do direct government-to-government capacity building. But we're also trying to bring in the experience of our private sector and make sure that we harness that in support of the work that ASEAN is trying to do to develop these frameworks and develop its digital trade.
All right, now looking at ASEAN, we're trying to have this single window trade, and we know that this is one of the fastest regions in its digital development and enhancement. So how do you see the single window trade in ASEAN would support this economic integration program between UK and ASEAN?
So we'll definitely try to bring a digital focus to everything that we're doing under this economic integration programme, because we agreed with ASEAN right from the beginning that digital is clearly the path of the future for trade everywhere in the world, and it's key to everything else that we're trying to do. As I say, we're already providing some direct capacity building and support for the officials who are involved in developing the digital economy framework agreement. And as you say, the digital window is also a key focus, and we will want to work hand in glove with ASEAN member states and with the ASEAN Secretariat in identifying where we as the UK might be able to add expertise and add something a little bit extra. And it is an area where we feel that we've gone very fast on developing our own capacity for digital trade, and particularly putting in place our legal framework around digital trade. We're very keen to share that experience, the things that have gone well, the lessons that we've learnt from the process to support ASEAN's own work to deliver in the digital space.
All right, now we were talking about ASEAN. If I could just narrow it down to Indonesia. Indonesia is one of the biggest, or actually it's the biggest stakeholders in terms of its population here in the region. So do you have any note for Indonesia? Because we're also very, very keen on having this as an opportunity of this ASEAN and UK economic integration program, maybe from you, Mr. Kent.
So the current trading relationship between the UK and Indonesia is worth £3.6 billion in bilateral trade, and that's approximately even between exports and imports. This is a number that we think we can substantially increase in the years to come. When we look across at the shared agendas that both governments are interested in, when we look at the challenges that we both face, there are so many opportunities for British businesses to work more closely with Indonesian businesses and vice versa to deliver products and services that fit those needs. And the two economies are particularly complementary. Some of the great strengths of UK financial services and our professional services businesses really match with some of the high capabilities of Indonesian businesses. So it's a partnership that really matters to us, and it's a partnership that we can we see moving from strength to strength. Later this year in June, we're actually running a roadshow around the UK to promote understanding of this part of the world across British businesses, to help them realise the enormous opportunities that are out here, as we believe there are several thousand more British businesses that could be engaged in really successful partnerships with Indonesian counterparts to the mutual benefit of both sides.
Oh, that's a very exciting roadshow, I hope. Okay, so maybe my last question to you, Mrs. Ambassador. So what would you like to see happen in the economic integration program in the future?
So we're really hoping that by the end of this program, and hopefully it will not be the last of our programs in this space, but that we'll see real impact in terms of being able to see how we've been able to contribute to ASEAN's efforts to develop its policy frameworks, and through doing that to open up that understanding of the opportunities on offer in ASEAN for British business and help them to capitalise on the opportunities. But it's about much more than that. I think the other cross-cutting focuses for this programme are on MSMEs, on medium and small enterprises, and on women's economic empowerment. And that is a real focus for this programme. As you know, there's this huge diversity, including in economic development across ASEAN. And one of the things we really want to do with this programme is to support MSMEs, who are the backbone of the economy in Southeast Asia, to flourish in this growing region, and to be able to adapt to and benefit from the frameworks that ASEAN is setting for regional economic integration. And it's a particular passion of mine, to ensure that women who so often find themselves concentrated at the lower end of value in the jobs market are able to access the financial services and the opportunities, the economic opportunities on offer in a region that's growing so fast. Because that's where the future has to lie for ASEAN's economic future.
I mean, I can't agree more. And I cannot have any other, I don't need any other guarantee, because it comes from you, a woman, talking about women empowerment. So thank you so much, Madam Ambassador Sarah Tiffin, for coming, and also Mr. Martin Kent, His Majesty's Trade Commissioner for Asia Pacific. I hope I said it correctly. Thank you for coming to see today's studio, and hopefully this relations will be more beneficial and mutual between UK and ASEAN, especially also to Indonesia. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, so that was our discussion about the UK and ASEAN relations, and now we're on for a break. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned on See Today Business.